Penguin Random House Audio presents The Disengaged Teen, Helping Kids Learn Better, Feel Better, and Live Better, by Jenny Anderson and Rebecca Winthrop. Read for you by Jenny Anderson and Rebecca Winthrop.
To our children. Ella, Tess, Santi, and Nico. Never stop exploring. In life, in love, and in school. Author's note. We are deeply grateful to every child, parent, caregiver, and teacher who share their story with us. Every story in this book is real. But in some cases, to protect their privacy, we have changed people's names and identifying details. Introduction. The disengagement crisis. In the world of education, tests rule. They are used to measure what kids know, how much progress they're making, and where they will go to college. It's like a 13-year sorting hat exercise. And there is one test that reigns supreme, that measures not just what students know, but if they can think critically and solve problems. This test, given every 3 years to 15-year-olds in about 80 countries, has become a sort of academic GDP, a globally watched measure of the effectiveness of a country's education system. The test is called Program for International Student Assessment, PISA, and it's been administered by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development since 2000. It originally measured math and reading and science. Later tests added new skills such as creative thinking and global competence. The data reveal how well a country's students are developing the assessed knowledge, attitudes, and skills, and in a competitive twist, how those results compare to other countries. For about a decade and a half after the first results were published, PISA scores generally held steady. The knowledge economy needed knowledgeable graduates, and countries spent billions on school systems. But about 10 years ago, something odd happened. In many countries, scores in reading and science started to fall. In 2018, math went off a cliff too. By 2022, the headline for the latest PISA test was resounding. The academic performance of 15-year-olds was in free fall. This drop in scores is not just puzzling, it's alarming. If education today is a leading indicator of a country's productivity and social cohesion tomorrow, PISA is an early signal of what future generations have in store. Well-educated citizens are employable and productive. They can work together to address complex problems like global warming, polarization, or the downsides of powerful new technologies such as artificial intelligence. Well-educated scientists cure diseases and ease discomfort. Knowledgeable entrepreneurs drive innovation. Well-trained engineers create beautiful bridges and make sure they don't fall down. If teens everywhere are losing academic ground, how on earth will we collectively help people live healthier, happier, and more creative and fulfilling lives? Just as a sustained drop in GDP raises alarm bells, the persistent decline in PISA scores raises the question, why are young people in a learning recession? The pandemic surely made things worse. Kids missed out on a shocking amount of learning. Being isolated for so long had real developmental consequences, with marginalized young people suffering the most. But the data suggests the problem started well before March 2020. Many blame technology, pointing to the epic distraction of smartphones for hijacking our kids' attention away from sleep, friendships, and learning. But there's a deeper reason, rarely acknowledged and pernicious. A shocking number of young people don't see the point of school anymore. As a result, they lose motivation and check out. According to the U.S. Census, only 1 in 3 students is highly engaged in school. Technology exacerbates this problem, but is not the source of it. Kids witness the world around them, wars, social injustice, climate change, disinformation, technology that can write novels and counsel on heartbreak, and wonder why on earth they have to learn the Pythagorean theorem. This is a problem around the world. In the United States, 30% of students between 3rd and 12th grade say that what they learn in school feels connected to their life outside the classroom. In Chile, only around 20% find their schooling useful. It's not breaking news that most young people don't love what they do in school. The genre of the disaffected tween and teen is a deep and storied one. But the distance between school and life has become a chasm. Imagine for a moment what a teenager's average day would be like for you. You enter work at 9 a.m. You sit down in your office, pull out your binder, and get to work on a project. After 45 minutes, a bell rings, and you pack up your papers and move to the office next door, where you pull out a different binder and get to work on a different project. You repeat this sequence 5 or 6 times a day. For some projects, you are allowed to use a computer and the internet, but for others, you can only consult your memory and use a number 2 pencil. How would you feel at the end of the day? How would you feel about your career? Parents know something's amiss. When they ask, "How was school?" kids deliver the predictable and emotionally flat, "Fine." Perhaps because we all don't know what to do about it, or we've heard it for so long, we brush it aside. We've become desensitized to it. We are failing to see it for the crisis it is. Young people, hungry to learn and grow, overwhelmingly associate school with apathy and stress. Trapped in buildings that feel like prisons, teens' words, not ours, they are stressed out by a weird combination of competitive pressures and insufficient stimulation, and they develop a frustration that fuels a pervasive lack of meaning in their daily existence. This is a disaster for kids' mental health. It is bad for countries that need educated citizens. It is also bad for families trying to raise children who can thrive in the 21st century. More than ever before, what kids need now is to become better at learning. Generative artificial intelligence, AI, is accelerating rapidly, and everyone agrees that the pace of change will continue to be dizzying. Uncertainty is the new norm. No one knows exactly what shifts in jobs and society are in store. What can best protect and prepare our kids? Rose Luckin, a British professor and AI expert, is blunt. Make them good at learning. The only thing that can insulate them from rapid change and give them the confidence to move forward is the ability to learn and adapt. Resilient learners are not strong. They are flexible. At a moment when we desperately need them to be firing on all cylinders, engaged with their learning, they do the opposite. Too many young people feel helpless and hopeless when they should feel invincible. No kid wants to be checked out. Young people are hardwired for learning, and when they don't succeed at it in school, because it's too easy or too hard, because they have mental health issues or are neurodivergent, because they are not connecting with a teacher, because they experience bullying or discrimination, or they don't feel their values align with those around them, they respond with the tools they have. They disengage. When that disengagement becomes an identity, their potential and their opportunities get clipped. They miss out on endless chances to learn about subjects and skills, about themselves and others. Too many are losing at a game they don't want to play and feel angry, sad, or anxious. Meanwhile, plenty of others are winning, but are worn out by the relentless nature of a never-ending match. Faced with this, many parents also feel helpless. You aren't teachers, you're not in classrooms, and you're busy. But just as you support kids with friendships you aren't part of, cheer them on in sports you don't play, and help them find careers you don't do, you can coach them to be better learners without becoming science, math, or English teachers. The tools you need are deeply researched, tucked away in wonky academic handbooks and dense neuroscientific papers. We have spent the last 3 years distilling them into simple strategies you can use in the car, at dinner, and when your child is cursing their homework. The science and practice of good learning is called engagement, and it's one of the best-kept secrets in education. More than just grit or willpower, engagement is a complex interplay of emotions, thoughts, and behaviors that ignite a deep, genuine interest in the world around us. When children are engaged, they are energized, not exhausted. They become proactive learners. They ask questions, seek help, advocate for their interests, and learn to set their own goals, whether that's making a video or writing a play in history. They notice if they are ahead or behind in the material and try to do something about it. They become resilient, viewing challenges as opportunities for growth and embracing complexity and uncertainty as natural parts of the learning process. They persist in the face of obstacles because they know that learning is hard, but that effort pays. They seek out resources to deepen their understanding and connect their learning to their lives and create.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?